Alrighty, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Very Cold Lasagna, the podcast that houses a safe and open listening platform for casual, cold, and even the dumbest takes on the world of WWE, AEW, the NFL, and the wide world of pro wrestling and sports in general. I'm your host, DylanLasagna. Welcome to today's episode number 60 of this freezing cold podcast that always has the takes within this ice cold, yet kind of very hot lasagna. Today we got a good show for you all because we're going to be talking about Week 9, a very, very strange Week 9 of the 2021 NFL season. We're going to be going over all the highlights, all the games, all the winners and losers, and my players of the week. And when that's all said and done, we're going to be giving my picks for what should be a little more stable Week 10. Yeah, Week 9 was pretty interesting, to say the least. I kind of thought of it as the trap week. Yeah, the trap week. I thought it was also the trick week too, because I thought Halloween was last Sunday, not this past Sunday, but like literally last week, and yet I guess it came a Sunday too late. I guess you want to call it that, but nonetheless, yeah, this Sunday of NFL action was very strange to say the least. I didn't think it would be this way, but it is what it is. So we're gonna get into the big week of NFL action here. There were a couple of teams on bye: the Seahawks, the Lions, who, well, it would have been crazy to see them lose another game in this crazy week of action. And then we also had the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Washington Football Team on bye this week. So, like I said, we'll get into the week that was Week 9. Before we do, if you like what we hear or see on this show, make sure to listen to the show on all the various platforms like YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, and Google Podcasts. If you're watching this on the YouTube side of things, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on that notification bell so you'll be notified of each and every episode. And obviously, go ahead and listen to the show on the audio side of things, and follow the show on social media on Twitter and Instagram at Very Cold Lasagna. So let's get into discussing this Week 9 of a very strange NFL season. Well, correction, it's a very strange week of the 2021 NFL season. So heading into this week, we had 8 weeks in the books, and I'd like to make a correction on this show. We did not yet reach the halfway point because, well, I don't math here on this show. Like I said, when we start the show, we're not statistics, we're not analytical people here on Very Cold Lasagna. We like to evaluate the performance from a fan perspective. We don't look at the numbers. We actually, after this week, are at the actual halfway point of the NFL season. So 9 plus 9 equals 18, not 8 plus 10. That's not halfway. So, my apologies for those that were wondering, but nonetheless. So, Week 9 was supposed to present with us with a variety of games. Games for those that needed a win, games for those that did get a win, looking to contribute that recent success, and, well, games that could have been traps for playoff contenders. Well, you can guess which one of those came to fruition, and, well, you can guess which one was completely unexpected after this past week. So we get the action rolling with Thursday Night Football. The Indianapolis Colts beat the New York Jets. Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines pretty much rolled over the Jets. Carson Wentz bounced back from a very, very bad game with bad decision making against the Tennessee Titans, with taking care of the football in this game against a bad Jets team. But the Colts had to survive Josh Johnson time in garbage time. So the Colts beat the Jets 45-30 on Thursday night. So then we get into the Sunday slate of action. In the early morning, the Atlanta Falcons surprisingly upset the New Orleans Saints 27-25. And the Falcons allowed Trevor Siemian, of all people, and a Saints offense that, it was okay for the most part, to take the lead very late in the game. But Matt Ryan and Cordell Patterson saved the day again to get Young Hui Koo into position to kick another game-winning field goal. And you got to wonder for the Saints, maybe Trevor Siemian could be okay, but he's not the savior for the Saints season. They're just too beat up. The Denver Broncos, in perhaps the upset of the season so far, beat the Dallas Cowboys 30-16. Now, forget the box score. Forget the score that was there. This was a complete shutout by the Denver defense. Like a defense that just traded away their future Hall of Fame linebacker, their former Super Bowl MVP in Von Miller. This defense literally shut down Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper all day long. And some people say Dak Prescott just got back from the bye week 2 weeks. That was 2 weeks ago, and he's coming off. It's his first game since the calf injury. And yeah, he was rusty. I'll give it that. But this was a more impressive performance for both the Denver defense and I gotta give credit to the offense too. They controlled the clock by running the ball and staying in bounds. Teddy Bridgewater didn't make too many mistakes with the football, and the Denver Broncos, don't count them out just yet. And for the Dallas Cowboys, it's just one bad game. It was, like I said, trap game for them. So Denver beats Dallas 30-16, and again, forget the box score. 30-16. The New England Patriots beat the Carolina Panthers 24-6. The Patriots reminded Sam Darnold that they're still his bitch, even if he's in Carolina. Picking him off 3 times, one for, I think it was a pick 6. And yeah, Sam Darnold is now sidelined with an injury for a couple weeks. But even then, I think Carolina's decision not to go for Deshaun Watson and sticking with Sam Darnold is coming back to haunt them. So Patriots beat the Panthers 24-6. And then in an overtime thriller, the Baltimore Ravens come back to beat the Minnesota Vikings 34-31. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens overcame a slow first half to take the lead against the Vikings, who retied the game very late in the game to send it to overtime. But Lamar Jackson advanced his team down the field, and Justin Tucker kicked the game winner. Down in Ohio, in the Battle of Ohio, the Cleveland Browns, who have been disappointing for the past couple of weeks, beat the Cincinnati Bengals in a complete blowout, 41-16. The Browns had a big day on both sides of the ball, which was pretty much highlighted by Denzel Ward's 100-yard pick 6 on the Bengals' opening play of the game. And Baker Mayfield and that offense looked actually a lot better without Odell Beckham. Maybe Odell Beckham not being on the Browns was what Cleveland needed to rejuvenate that offense. I think maybe OBJ was the problem. Him wanting the ball all the damn time. And for the Bengals, maybe they're coming back down to earth a little bit. So Browns beat the Bengals 41-6. Not 41-6, 41-16. And perhaps another big upset that nobody expected. Josh Allen screwed Josh Allen. So the Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills 9-6, all thanks to Josh Allen. So Josh Allen harassed his doppelganger all day long in probably one of the worst games of the season. But the Jags did enough just to generate an upset win over his doppelganger's team, the Bills. Maybe Stephon Diggs shouldn't have worn custom All Elite Wrestling shoes. Maybe that was the reason why the Bills lost this game. Yeah, you shouldn't have worn cleats to support a shitty and crappy indie fed. All the flips and kicks and the cucksa-suckery down in AEW land. Maybe don't do that next time, Stephon. Don't do that. So down in Miami, the Dolphins beat the Houston Texans in the game that was billed as, we don't want Deshaun Watson, but we want to win. It was that kind of game. If you liked turnovers, this was the orgy for you. Especially by Tyrod Taylor, who didn't help the Texans at all in this game. So 17 first half points were enough for Miami to take the win. The New York Giants beat the Las Vegas Raiders 23-16. Just like with the Miami game, this game was downright ugly. Turnovers and bad QB play all around. But a pick six from the New York Giants on Derek Carr was just enough to net the G-Men its third win heading into their Week 10 bye. Now for the afternoon slate. The LA Chargers beat the Philadelphia Eagles 27-24. The Eagles' running attack of Jordan Howard and Boston Scott wasn't enough to counteract Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, and a bunch of random guys that scored all the points for the Chargers. It wasn't enough, and it wasn't enough for Dustin Hopkins, the new LA kicker, to get a last-second field goal for the Eagles to beat the Chargers. So the Chargers somewhat back on track after 2 straight losses, 27-24. The Kansas City Chiefs couldn't take advantage of the Aaron Rodgers-less Packers, only beating them 13-7. Jordan Love's first start was much less to be desired, but so was Kansas City's chance to get right on offense. The Packers defense pretty much put the brakes on Patrick Mahomes, and in turn Mahomes and their offense, they put on yet another klutzy performance, but they did enough to get a win because Jordan Love, I don't know, he still needs some work. And no Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins, no AJ Green. It was no problem for the Arizona Cardinals as James Conner literally ran over a Niners team that looked like the fucking G League team instead of the Arizona Cardinals. They were the ones that forgot there was a game all Sunday long. The G League Arizona Cardinals beat the San Francisco 49ers 31-7. This was downright embarrassing. This was awful. Downright terrible. How do you lose to a G League B team Cardinals team, a team of backups that didn't have a majority of its key players? How do you do that, Kyle Shanahan? How do you do that? Really? So then the Sunday night game, the Tennessee Titans beat the LA Rams 28-16, and don't let the final box score fool you, just like the Dallas game. The Titans in their first week without Derrick Henry, dominated the Rams in a total team effort. While the offense with Ryan Tannehill and pretty much Adrian Peterson and the running back committee, they have a lot more to be desired. The Titan defense, they took care of Matthew Stafford all game long, forcing him to revert to the Matthew Stafford of old with the Detroit Lions. Turning him into Lions Matthew Stafford, forcing him into 2 interceptions, one of which was a costly pick six that pretty much turned the tide of the game. And despite the offense trying to come back, they couldn't capitalize on any touchdowns. So Titans beat the Rams 28-16, and perhaps a big win for this Titans team, and maybe they stake their claim to the top seed in the AFC. Then in the Monday night closer, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Chicago Bears 29-27 in some primetime quality Bears football, John. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers dominated for 3 quarters, but nearly shit the bed towards the end of the game as they let Justin Fields in probably his best showing yet as a rookie, and probably so far in his NFL career, as he led the Bears downfield and nearly, he literally won them the game, nearly won them the game. They had the lead late in the game, but as always, the Bears defense once again showed the world how to play some good old-fashioned Bears football, Maggle, and choked that all away with stupid penalties. Now, granted, most of which during this game, and I got to see literally the second half of this game where all the stupid penalties were happening when I got home from work, and the penalties in this game, the referees in this game were stupid as hell, especially towards the end of the game where Cassius Marsh, I think is the Bears player's name, this dude, he celebrated a sack, and you should let him. And I don't, he was flagged for taunting. I don't know where the flag came from. Was people were saying that he was flagged for, staring at the bench or just simply looking at the bench, or when I tweeted about it, I thought he was flagged for the karate kick, being the Karate Kid, celebrating that. I'm like, this is really what they're doing with the NFL. You can't. We literally eased up on the celebrations in 2017, and now they're trying to take it away with this new taunting rule. Like, these referees are so stupid. They are the R word. I don't want to say it, but they are completely stupid trying to institute this rule. Like, literally steps away from becoming the no fun league again, and you guys are dumb. You guys are really dumb. So, Steelers take the lead once again with the Chris Boswell big field goal, and dumb Dignac Nagy decided to have Cody Parkey kick and miserably fail at a very long field goal of his own, and the Steelers hold on barely, in a game where they easily could have won this decisively. So overall, yeah, this was a really, really strange week. The Bills lost to the Jags, and their offense looked really out of sorts. Maybe they watched too much AEW. Maybe they attended Dynamite in I don't know where the hell they were. I think they were in St. Louis this week. Maybe they flew out to St. Louis, checked out some AEW. They spoke to Tony Khan Man, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they were good." And then Jacksonville took that to heart, and they whooped on their candy asses for 60 minutes straight. And then the Denver game was like very strange indeed, like very shocking. Like, I mean, cool that the Cowboys lost because everyone loves to see Dallas lose, but like Denver had lost 4 straight or 3 of the last 4. I correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it was just very strange to see that happen. Them literally shutting down one of the best offenses in the NFL, and it was like crazy indeed. So overall, week 9, it came at a strange time. Halloween was literally the week before, and literally it came 1 week late. It literally came 1 week late. So that's how I felt about week 9 of the NFL season. Now, as for the winners and losers of week 9, this very strange week 9, the Denver Broncos. Like I mentioned before, they traded away Von Miller to the Rams, but that didn't matter to them because they went into Dallas and absolutely shut out the Cowboys. And like I said, don't let the box score of 30-16 fool you. All the 16 points that the Cowboys scored was literally in the 2-minute drill at the end of the fourth quarter. So don't let that fool you, because this was a shutout by the Broncos. So you could attribute this to, Dak feeling the rust after 2 weeks off, being out, inactive, the bye week, and not being able to play in the Minnesota game. But this Denver defense made him struggle, made him jittery all game long. He was making a lot of ill-advised throws, and he was just getting sacked. And usually good offensive line for the Cowboys, wasn't able to protect him. And the Denver defense on Dak's ill-advised throws were able to net a couple of turnovers on him. And meanwhile, on offense, Teddy Bridgewater didn't make too many mistakes. And the offense was able to control the clock and able to run the ball down a usually kind of strong, not that strong, but a kind of strong Dallas defense. And that kept Dak off the field, and Denver controlled the time of possession. And I know time of possession is kind of useless when you're not up in the game, but they did so and took advantage of a lot of their opportunities. So all in all, an impressive performance for a team that may not be all that dead in the AFC West. We'll see how they do against the Eagles on Sunday. Can they follow it up? Can they prove that this shocking win against the Cowboys was not an asterisk? And then the Arizona Cardinals, for as much as a Niner fan as much as I'm pissed about this loss, you gotta give credit where credit is due to Arizona. they looked, despite not having Kyler Murray or DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, and then you already lost JJ Watt to the season, and then you later lose Chase Edmonds to a high ankle sprain. They still came out the more prepared team. They didn't look like the B team, the G League team that had all the backups. They don't look like the current Oklahoma City Thunder of the NFL. No, they didn't look like that at all on Sunday, because James Conner literally looked like an absolute beast. He looked like fucking Derrick Henry. I don't want to use that comparison, but the Niners made him look like Derrick fucking Henry on Sunday. And Colt McCoy took care of the football. And the defense generated 2 turnovers on Kittle and Ayuk. And, Jimmy Garbage fail threw a wide open interception to Buda Baker. And yeah, these Arizona Cardinals, are resilient. They're determined, and you got to give them some credit for that. For fighting for their players. They got, I gotta say, that's commitment right there. The Tennessee Titans, you also have to give them credit for finding ways to win, even without Derrick Henry. And this is due to their defense. Like I said, they made Matthew Stafford feel rattled to the point where he became the Lions' Matthew Stafford for one night. The pressure got to him all night. He was forced to throw an interception deep in his own end zone, and he even threw a pick six that turned the tide of the game completely. Now, if the offense does hit its part the rest of the way, who knows? This Titans team may be on its way to the top seed in the AFC. And sure, there could be like other teams like that, like the Bills, or I don't know, maybe the Ravens, but I don't know. We'll see what the Titans do. Justin Fields. I think the game on Monday night, despite, with the shit supporting cast and Matt Nagy's dumb dick decision making, I think, Justin Fields had a strong game against the Steelers front four that is, led by JJ Watt, and, again, despite having a shitty offensive line. Justin Fields looked precise, made a lot of good throws on the run. He got rid of the ball very fast, with the offensive line crumbling around him like very quickly. And he was able to get the Bears quickly back into the game, like late in the game. He got good throws downfield, and like I said, made some good decisions with the ball in the second half. Now, if he gets the right play caller and a proper offensive line, and if he continues to improve as the season progresses in the second half, this guy is going to be good. This guy is going to be good, hopefully next season and beyond. Now it's for some of the losers. The Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, man. Like, for the last couple of weeks, they seem to have been on the cusp of competing with the Ravens for the AFC North division title, especially considering that they blew them out a couple weeks ago. But then they lose to a Jets team that was starting a dude named Mike White. And then they get hammered at home by the skid marks. Yeah, they get hammered by the Cleveland Browns that had regressed back to the skid marks for a little while. And they had just released Odell Beckham Jr. Turns out that's all the Browns needed to completely kick the asses of the Bengals, the Bungles. Perhaps the bye week will help the Bengals get, reacquainted, try to make another push at competing with the Ravens. But man, it looks like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have crashed down back to earth. It's not a bad thing for the Bengals. Zach Taylor may have saved his job for at least one more year, but we'll see. The Kansas City Chiefs offense, again, and that's because this was supposed to be the week where they were supposed to make things right. They were supposed to get in sync. Aaron Rodgers was out this past Sunday due to COVID, but instead of going back to taking those steps for Mahomes to be himself and make some adjustments, Patrick Mahomes struggled again to lead his offense. He couldn't find his receivers. His receivers couldn't, were not in sync with him. Mahomes was either often checking it down, or he was airmailing, or he was, yeeting passes in the air and nearly had it intercepted once again. And all in all, this Chiefs offense is very out of sync. So just like with their easy games, they won't be able to get away with trying to play ugly against the stronger competition. You have the Raiders. Sure, they're not doing like that hot. They just got off the bye, but still. And then you got the Chargers again on Thursday night. You got Denver. They still have a strong defense. And then you also have the Cowboys. They're going to be pissed off as all hell in a couple weeks. And I'm not sure who else they're playing, but they still have a lot of quality competition left in their schedule. But still, they can't win like this. They can't win with a Patrick Mahomes-led offense struggling like this. So they better get the ball rolling in the second half of the season. Otherwise, they're not making the playoffs at all, whether it's the offense struggling or the secondary completely being ass. And then, of course, my San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, I guess that Bears win from last week was a total aberration, because the 49ers looked like the team that didn't have their starting quarterback, that didn't have its top 2 wide receivers, and it didn't have one of their top defensive linemen on Sunday, because, their opponent came in with none of that, and the 49ers still managed to lose, and lose very badly. Their defense failed to shut down James Conner all game long. They failed to generate any pass rush. They failed to lock down on Christian Kirk and freaking Rondale Moore. Josh Norman was a stupid ass, costing his team 3 more points for his emotional stupidity on Cliff Kingsbury. All his stupid ass trash talking, which led to a rightfully deserved benching, but like that helped anything. And the offense was back to his usual run in the middle and check down self, with Kyle Shanahan being conservative as fuck with Jimmy Garbage fail. So this was for all the complaining I do with the San Francisco 49ers this season, unless something Jed York does in January, if he's ballsy enough to actually eat the dead money of the contract extensions that he gave to Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. I'm really thinking that he could fire Shanahan. I'm not so sure John Lynch. Maybe he would fire them both. But I don't know. Is he willing to eat all that dead money? Is he really willing to, let Kyle Shanahan just walk to another team? Am I overreacting? I don't know. All in all, what I do know is the Rams are coming to town next Monday, and they're gonna provide another ass whooping, maybe probably even an even worse ass whooping on the national stage of Monday night on the 49ers. And what I do know is after that ass whooping, it's time to start the rookies, Kyle. It's time to start the rookies. It's time to start Trey Lance. It's time to start Trey Sermon. It's time to start Ambry Thomas. It's time to start Aaron Banks. It's time to start all the damn rookies. Start them all. Bench all the washed-ass players. My God. This season is an embarrassment. It's not like 2015, 2016 embarrassment. If that's a word. But all in all, this 2021 season is embarrassing, Kyle. So anyway, players of the week. We got Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield. He had 2 touchdowns for the day, but he looked very efficient throwing the ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones and Nick Chubb all game long. Cardinals running back James Conner literally running over the Niners' poor run defense. Jags linebacker Josh Allen. Yeah, we got to give some love to the Allenception. Getting a sack and an interception. Making NFL history. Sacking and intercepting his doppelganger. Yeah, we got to give some love there. And then, of course, the Denver Broncos defense, for putting the brakes on a a high-powered Dallas offense. So, yeah, that Denver defense, that could be the thing to carry the Broncos into a possible wild card chase. So then, overall, that was week 9 of the NFL season. All my winners and losers, all the games that happened. What do you guys think about week 9? Let me know how you feel. Any possible way you can. So now, let's close the show off with week 10. Let's take a look at week 10 and give you my picks for the week that is to come. So we've now officially hit the halfway point of the NFL season. Like I said, 8 plus 10 does not equal halfway point. 18 times half of that is 9. So we officially hit the halfway point of the NFL season. So after last week's deja vu filled wackiness, week 10 shouldn't be any different. Plenty of more trap games for playoff contenders, who are looking to bounce back from last week's trap. The playoff contenders that could be walking into trap games looking to avoid that. And the wild cards that did win last week, they're trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. And then, of course, there are the teams that are trying to solidify their stranglehold on the division, or maybe their positioning in the playoffs. We're getting close to that point of the season where some teams will be thinking, playoffs? Yeah, that point. And we start at that point with Thursday Night Football with the Baltimore Ravens traveling to South Beach to take on the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, this is probably going to be another one of those games where one team is going to get literally run over, and that team is going to be the Miami Dolphins. Lamar Jackson is going to take his team down to Hard Rock Stadium and run over a very fluky and a very bad Dolphins team. And they may not have Tua Tagovailoa on Thursday night due to I think it's a finger injury. So Lamar and this Ravens offense, and despite their bad defense of their own, they're going to take care of business easily of the Dolphins. So then we get to the Sunday morning action. The Buffalo Bills travel to New York to take on the Jets, and you can bet the Bills are going to be pissed off as all hell after losing to the AEW Jacksonville Jaguars. And you can tell that the Bills have been struggling on offense without Dawson Knox, and their offense has been a little bit out of sorts. And I think that has to do with, Josh Allen finally mating his match with Josh Allen. I'm having too much fun with that. I'm sorry. But the Jets, they're still a very bad team. I don't know. I don't think Mike White is going to play in this game. Zach Wilson's not going to play in this game. So it's probably going to be the Josh Johnson. So whatever his name is. And Buffalo, they should be able to bounce back from, a very ugly loss down in Jacksonville. And they should take care of Gang Green, unless if they take them for granted too on Sunday. The Tampa Bay Bucks and the Washington football team return from their bye to face each other in the nation's capital. Washington remains banged up, especially at the running back position. They're still lacking at various positions. And, when we last saw Tom Brady and the Bucks, they lost to the Saints despite not having Jameis Winston, and they lost him for the season. So look for Tom Brady and a pissed off Bucks team to pretty much sweep Washington under the rug early. Yeah, the matchup you saw in the playoffs, with Heineke and a dominant Chase Young led Washington defense, that's not there. It is not there. So the Bucks are going to beat the Washington football team on Sunday. Then in Jerry's world, the Atlanta Falcons take on the Dallas Cowboys in a rematch of last year's choke job by the Falcons, the big one. Yeah, that one. The Cowboys had a down week against the Broncos, but, Dak in the offense, all teams have bad weeks, and they should be able to bounce back against a beatable Falcons team that pretty much runs through just Matt Ryan and Cordell Patterson. So I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. The New Orleans Saints travel to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. While the Tennessee Titans still have some things to figure out on offense, trying to figure out who's going to be the primary ball carrier with Derrick Henry gone for at least a couple weeks. The Saints have their own problem of their own, relying so much on Alvin Kamara, who may not be available for this game. And it could be Mark Ingram that takes the reins for at least this one game. But, look for the Titans to attempt their repeat performance on defense and Ryan Tannehill to beat a very beatable Saints secondary. So I'm going with the Titans. The Jacksonville Jaguars traveled to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. They may have won the Josh Allen game, but they won't be so lucky against a Colts team that had a good performance against the Jets, and they could have a even better one against their division rival in the Jags. And they're going to be playing motivated, because they want to be catching up to the Titans in the AFC South. So I'm going with the Colts. The winless Detroit Lions return to continue on their journey to becoming the second winless team in NFL history. No, sorry, the third winless team, because remember, we still have the 0-17, the 0-16 Cleveland skid marks from 2017. But they want to become, these Lions want to become the 0-18 or 17? Oh, I don't have math, but 0-17. They want to become the first 0-17 winless team in NFL history. They want to continue that journey, and that journey continues. That journey rides through Pittsburgh as they take on the Steelers. Man, that took a stuttering stroll into this matchup. So, look, the Steelers are bad offensively, but the Lions are such a bad team. They are a very bad team, and you saw that in Week 8 against Philadelphia. A just as bad team as the Lions. So expect the Steelers to either win this in either a blowout or probably an ugly one. Like I said, the Lions are going to continue their journey to becoming the first 0-17 team in NFL history. In probably a good morning matchup, the Cleveland Browns take on the New England Patriots. Both teams are coming off big, good performances in the last week. The Browns offensively and the Patriots defensively. I'm going to give a slight edge to the Patriots in this one due to their their defensive resurgence. This is not to discredit Mac Jones, but I think the Patriots defensively, they've been doing the bulk of the work for the Patriots wins. But you never know with the Browns on offense. Without OBJ, they seem to do a lot better offensively. But Foxborough could still be scary for Baker Mayfield and the Browns. So I'm just going to give New England a slight edge, but you never know with the Cleveland Browns. Then for the afternoon slate of games, the Minnesota Vikings travel to LA to take on the Chargers. Justin Herbert should eventually be able to get out of this funk. He looked fine in the Philadelphia game, but nothing like game changing or whatnot to get him back to his weeks 1 through 5 self. So this game against a beatable Vikings secondary should do that. You're just gonna have to try to put down Kirk Cousins, okay? So I'm going with the Chargers. The Carolina Panthers travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. They could have Kyler Murray back. They could also have the DeAndre Hopkins and A.J. Green back for this game. Now, James Conner is going to have a tough matchup against a pretty formidable Panthers run defense, despite Sam Darnold shitting the bed every week. But Arizona should have no worries running over a Carolina team that won't have Sam Darnold for a couple weeks, and they'll have P.J. Walker under center. So Arizona, whether it's Kyler Murray or Colt McCoy starting, they should easily take care of Carolina, just like the Cardinals did with the 49ers. The Seattle Seahawks returned from their bye to travel to Green Bay to take on the Green Bay Packers. The Seahawks know that they're going to be getting Russell Wilson back this week from that finger injury, and they could possibly be getting back the running back Chris Carson, depending on how that neck feels. But what we don't know is whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to clear COVID protocols in time to play on Sunday. That said, if Aaron Rodgers is not there, Jordan Love could see more playing time against a not-so-good Seahawks secondary. But as we saw on Sunday against the Chiefs, also bad secondary. Jordan Love didn't take advantage of his first start opportunity. So we will see what happens, but your best bet is to bet on the Seahawks. So then in the Mile High, the Philadelphia Eagles travel to take on the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are probably going to continue their success against a fluky Eagles defense. You know, they got their running back attack of Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, and then Jerry Jeudy is back to lead the receiving attack and help out Teddy Bridgewater. Who, as long as he doesn't cost them the game, as long as he takes care of the football, the Broncos will win, and that Denver defense should be able to contain the Eagles' running attack and Jalen Hurts. So I'm going with Denver in this game. And then in the Sunday night game, it's going to be a big one to determine who is going to get an edge in the AFC West title race. The Kansas City Chiefs go to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders in a big rematch from last year, which was a thriller of its own. It's going to be an interesting one. Both teams struggled last week. The Chiefs have been struggling a lot more offensively than the Raiders have. And, you know, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to roll the dice just like I would in Vegas and go with the Raiders. Yes. This is coming from a Niners fan. This is literally coming from a Niners fan. I am going with the Raiders to upset the Chiefs. And this just me, not me saying like, oh, I hate the Raiders, or like I'm still pissed off at the Chiefs for beating the 49ers. Like I'm just saying that, you know, the Raiders don't have the talented quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. They only have Derek Carr. They don't have the talented receiver core with Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill. They only have Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, and they just added Deshaun Jackson and all that. They also don't have the greatest secondary, but their secondary, I think it could be the key for the Raiders to win this game. Like, their secondary is not like as worse as a Chiefs secondary or a Seahawks secondary. I mean, like, we haven't seen them get blown out too badly. Like, I don't know. But as long as Derek Carr makes good decisions with the football, he takes care of it, and he takes, like, you know, high risk, high reward throws, you know, the Raiders, I think they can take control of the game. And if, you know, the defense can get to Patrick Mahomes against that, offensive line that should be doing well for the Chiefs, but it's not, then the Raiders can pull off an upset on Sunday night at home in Vegas. So you can call me crazy, but I'm going with the Raiders. Yes, call me crazy on that. Then in the Monday night closer, the Monday night football game. NFL, why do you do this to me at this point in the season? The LA Rams take on the San Francisco 49ers. Why? If you thought last week's disaster piece was bad for San Francisco, just wait. Just wait until this week. And this is not me being pessimistic. This is being realistic. Just wait until this week, as Jimmy Garbage Fail and Elijah Mitchell get shut down by a Rams team that's going to be pissed off as all hell. You know, Matt Stafford got pick six and intercepted and sacked multiple times. And, you know, Cooper Kupp couldn't cash in on a touchdown despite having a good game. And pretty much that Rams offense could only net 9 points in the red zone. They're going to be pissed off as all hell from their own stinker against the Titans. And with the way the Niners are playing right now, do you think that they have any chance to beat the Rams? And sure, we swept their asses for the last 2 seasons. Yes, we get that. But back then, we had a good secondary. We had a good front seven. We don't have that, aside from Nick Bosa. And, well, Fred Warner is having a mid. He's having a mid year. So I'm going to say it now, and it's going to be the theme from this point forward. On Monday, and the rest of the way, for as long as Kyle Shanahan remains coaching like this, for the 49ers, for as long as Jimmy Garbage Fail is the quarterback of the 49ers, for as long as this defense, this secondary, sucks major donkey dick, the San Francisco 49ers will and forever will play West Coast good old-fashioned Bears football, John, guaranteed. Yeah, Bears football in the West Coast. My God. Have we really become the Chicago Bears of the West? Have we? Like, why do this to us? Why do the gods do this to us? Anyway, that was my recap of the picks of week 10 of the NFL season. Those are my picks. Let me know what your picks are, however you can. And man, talking about that Monday night football game, previewing it made me feel something. But anyway, let me know how your picks are. Any way you can, when it's the comments on YouTube or like comments on social media when the post for the episode goes up. Okay. All right. Anyway, that is it for this episode of Very Cold Lasagna. I am DylanLasagna, the host of the show, signing out. Make sure to follow the show on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at Very Cold Lasagna. And listen to the show in all ways that you can on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, as well as Google Podcasts. And as always, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of pro wrestling and sports. Very cold in the fridge with all those takes inside that icy cold yet very hot lasagna. Until next time, until the end of week 10, peace out.